fog laying over the landscaping. Just a pretty morning. I like it. I like it a lot. But yeah, we got some work to do on the Jeep when we get home. Still waiting on straight pipes for this truck. They haven't come in yet. In case anybody's wondering about that on the channel. They keep pushing back the delivery date for them, but you know how the supply chain issue is right now, so that doesn't really come as too big of a surprise. I've already got the Jeep at home right now on jack stands. My son helped me snap off the lug nuts on the front wheels. Alright, here we go. Don't do it yet. Alright, good. There you go. Ready to come off. Good job. High five. You gonna leave me hanging? Alright. Good job, buddy. You gonna pull it off? No. No? It's almost there. I'll get it. Pretty cool. He loved using that torque wrench. He loved using that impact wrench, taking those wheels off, and he's pretty good at it too. He's able to hold it up there. I had to kind of help him line the socket up just right so he didn't strip it, but did pretty good with it. So I got it up there on jack stands. I got the wheels and the tires laying underneath the frame, just as a little precaution. I don't really like it sitting on jack stands like that when I'm not home, because it's in the garage and the kids and everybody go in and out of the garage to go to the van. Typically the van is in the garage, but since I took it apart, I took my wife's parking spot, so the van is sitting outside the garage right now, and the Jeep is inside, and I don't like the kids running around it, you know. I had to warn them before I left. I'm like, don't be hanging on the bumper, don't be doing anything like that. It's a little, you know, I mean, I'm not leery of the jack stands, but, you know, I don't want them pulling on it, tugging on it, so. a small evap leak. When I noticed it was when I saw it was the evap leak, first thing I did was I went back there and made sure the gas cap was on right. That's what you always want to do whenever you get a check engine light and it's an evap code. Always check the gas cap, especially if it's a small evap, because there's a small evap code and there's a large evap leak code. If you get the small one, generally it's a gas cap, and even if it's on there tight, it could still be a bad gasket, a dry rotted gasket around the cap, and it might need replaced. But I went ahead and went back there and took the cap off and put it back on, and it didn't immediately turn the check engine light off. But after like one drive cycle, which means driving, which means starting the engine up, driving, turning the engine off. After doing that one time, from the point where I took the cap off and put it back on, the check engine light went out. So that must have been what it was, because I had gotten some gasoline not long before that light came on, so I must have not put the cap back on perfectly fine, or there was just a little bit of a bad section in the gas. I don't know. Of course, it's a round gasket, so the bad section would be anywhere. So I don't know, but either way, check engine light's off now. So I'm sure it was just a gas cap issue. But like I said, we're gonna throw some new CV joint or CV axles on both sides because they were popping. And it's weird because it was making the noise, it was making like a growling noise. Every now and again it would make a slight growling, but it didn't sound like a wheel bearing. It wasn't making that kind of a growl. And then, I jacked it up and I had no play in the wheel bearing. So then I got to looking, and sometimes too, when you turn the wheel, it would pop. You'd kind of hear a little popping noise. And that's sometimes indicative of a bad axle, a CV axle, but typically on the outside joint, where it's closest to the wheel, because that's the one that moves around a lot more often and pivots a lot more often because you're steering the wheel. It's very rarely, the inner bulb or the inner joint, or the inner bearing rather, but where it connects into the axle tube or the differential, whichever side it's on. Typically it's the outer. But then that wasn't making any noise. The boot looked good, so I went ahead and I started rotating the wheels, and as I rotated the wheel, and I left it in two-wheel drive, obviously. I rotated each front wheel independently, and on one full revolution, you could see the inner bearing pop as it came around, and then pop, and then grind a little bit, and then pop, and it did that on both sides. So I'm like, well, that's pretty self-explanatory right there. So yeah, I guess that's really all it is. The exit. Man, it's foggy out there this morning. The fog never comes out looking as dense on the camera, but it's foggy. Everybody and their mother is getting off at this exit today, so that's fantastic. Roundabouts. I know statistically they're supposed to make things safer, but I hate roundabouts. I don't care if I'm in my truck or if I'm in my four-wheeler. I hate roundabouts. Especially when you get that one guy that doesn't know how to use it, and then it just like clogs it up. And then you might, you know, it's a real pain too when you're used to a certain roundabout or like a certain set of rules for a roundabout, and every so often you'll come into a town where the rules are backwards, where the person entering the roundabout has the right of way and the driver in the roundabout has to yield. And that gets kind of confusing. Like I said, they're just a bad idea. They're a bad idea all the way around. Get it? See what I did there? Alright, sorry guys, dad jokes. Oh man. Yeah, I'm not gonna wash it right now. It's a blue beacon in the midst. Alright, probably just gonna end it right here until we get back to the Jeep. Over here, and I would hate to pull doubles, I ain't gonna lie. That would be such a pain in the butt in some of these areas. Hats off to you, doubles, pullers, whatever. Alright, just because I'm gonna go in there for like 2 minutes, I'm gonna pull over right here next to the pumps, refill my coffee and drain my bladder. Or is it drain my coffee and refill my bladder? One of those two. Alright. Giggity giggity. Let's do this. Alright guys, we're home. We're going to get working on the Jeep. I don't know if it'll be today or tomorrow. The wife and daughter are having a little mother-daughter date. So I'm home with the other two kids, so I don't really know if I'll have a chance to work on it today. But we'll see. But here we go. Oh, we got this new CV shaft here for the passenger side. See right there, it's just going into the axle tube. It pops. That end of the shaft will pop if I rotate the wheel, which I can't right now because there's no wheel. And it's too much resistance to turn with just the rotor unless I put something in the studs. But I also got a new sway bar links. So right there, those things, those long, it's hard to point at them, but yeah, right, where's my finger? Right there, that bar going up right there. Got new ones of those because those look like they're original. This Jeep does have a lift on it, so I really hope that I got the right ones. So I hope those are if those are the original, then I got the right ones. But if they're not, they could be from the lift, but I don't think they are. Those bushings are really worn out. But see, that's something weird too about my CV. Those boots are not worn out, but they're really popping. So, like I said, it's like that on both sides. Does the exact same thing. Really hoping it's not something with the differential because they both pop. But it's got to be the CV joint. It's the CV joint itself, the cup, the inside cup right there. That's what's popping. You can see it. You can see it pop when I rotate with the wheels on it. So that's got to be what it is. So driver's side here. Oh man, I can't wait. I finally got an impact wrench to use. In the old days, I always used a breaker bar to take off this nut, 36 millimeter nut for the axle, and that was always a pain in the butt. But with this 650 torque impact, should make a pretty easy job of this. I'm just hoping that it comes out of the differential easy enough and I don't have to fight it too much. I know there's a retainer clip inside, but you just kind of do a little snap with the crowbar or pry bar, and it's supposed to pop out of there. So we shall see. Of course, I got everything lubed up with PB Blaster. Yeah. Like I said, should be a pretty straightforward job. Gonna take the caliper off. Then I remove the ball joint, the lower ball joint, or the upper ball joint and the lower ball joint. I remove the tie rod, the sway bar, or the sway bar links, lower ball joint, I think I said that, and then this whole knuckle right here comes off in one piece, and then I should be able to fish the axle or the CEV shaft out. So yeah, looking forward to it. I want to get it all swapped out and see if it makes a big difference in the way it drives, because those are pretty rough right now. I think those sway bar links are causing a little bit of a clunk when I go over a bump a little too hard. I know it makes sense judging by how bad those bushings are. So we'll get to it when we get to it, I guess. Here's the new sway bar links. Got all my stuff at O'Reilly's. So like I said, driver's side. Oh boy. You gotta love the Midwest Rust Belt, I'm telling you what. But hopefully it won't be too terrible, because like I said, this does have a lift on it. So at some point, these components have been taken apart before. I don't know how long the lift has been on it, but it's got, I know the upper control arm is aftermarket, so I know that's completely different. And I think that might be why the inside CV shaft, or not CV, not shaft, but the inside CV knuckle, I think that's why those wore out, is because of the lift. The shaft doesn't sit as straight across as it would with the stock suspension. So it sits more at an angle. So I think it just, that part of the CV shaft doesn't generally have to worry about pivoting as much like the steering and like the hub end does for the steering. So typically it's a lot straighter a lot more of the time. So I'm more willing to bet it just wore out. So like I said, that makes perfect sense to me. Riding at too much of an angle for too long, it'll wear it out faster. So we'll see. I remember a while ago, I made a video while I was in the wife's minivan. I had somebody make fun of me for driving the wife's minivan. Well, I'm in it right now, getting some gas in it. Had to go run out and get a part for the Jeep. I got to the very last bolt on the passenger side that I needed to take out, and I ran into a problem with the bushing that it was going through, and the bolts rusted, and it's just a pain. So I had to go out and get a new torch, and we're gonna see if we can't heat it up and extract it. I'll tell you what though, guys, this van, oh man, I look like crap right now. This van though, don't mind the pink wire, that's hers, of course. But this van will get up and go. I'm telling you what, man. It's got the newer 3.5 liter in it from Toyota, with almost 300 horsepower and an 8-speed transmission. I think an 8-speed transmission. And she will flat get up and go. This thing, it's crazy for a minivan. Absolutely crazy. Turn off the traction control. Now we are sport mode, all sorts of stuff. All right, we're gonna do a pull here in a minivan. That's weird to say in a minivan, but we're gonna do it. Let's see. That's right. I just chirped the tires and spun them a little bit at 10 miles an hour. That ain't bad. Yeah, that's not bad for a minivan. I don't think so anyway. It's actually quite good. This area is highly traveled by local PD, so I got to be careful. All right, so here's what we got to do. See right here, we got everything taken off. We've got the knuckle off. We've got the tie rod off. We got the sway bar link and everything off. Everything's ready to come out, but there's this nut. There's this bolt right there. That bolt. There's a bushing in there. It goes under through the fork for the strut, and then out to there. And I think the bolt is rusted to the sleeve inside the bushing. So I'm going to apply a bunch of heat to it, and I'm going to see if I can do it without melting the bushing, because I really don't want to have to take the I don't want to have to replace the bushings. Then I have to go out and get a freaking bushing press and all that crap, and I don't want to have to do that. So hopefully the bushing might be reusable. So I'm going to try to get it out. I just want to get that nut off the one end with the heat, and like I said, hopefully I don't apply so much heat that it melts the bushing. But if it does, it does. It's the only thing I can do. Guys, sometimes I think to myself, it'd be kind of nice to have a newer truck. It'd be nice to have the comfort of a larger truck. It'd be nice, just be nice to have a newer, more modern truck with more comfort-oriented conveniences and stuff to make life on the road easier, which I'm not on the road as much as I used to be. But then I get out of the truck and I look at it. And then I think to myself, nah, I'm good. Because every time I think that, I get online and I see somebody having an issue with a DPF, the filter, something that I don't have to worry about with this truck. Not saying there aren't things to worry about on this truck, but all you ever look at or all you ever see online are issues with DPFs. I'm pretty good for now. I think I'll be pretty content with this truck, I don't know why. I was just kind of thinking about that a few minutes ago. But, of course I'm tired too. When I get tired and I'm ready to go to bed, I start thinking crazy thoughts. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had a check engine light, knock on wood. God, I shouldn't have said that. I haven't had a check engine light on this truck. Yes, I'm persisting forward with that comment. Since I got it. I had that one kind of glitch with the coolant sensor, but I haven't had that since, and it's not low on coolant. So, I had that check engine light for that for like a little, once. So it's not really a concern on that Cascadia that I had. Man, I'll tell you what, I had check engine lights on that thing every week, and I always dealt with it. I tended to the situation, or what I thought was the situation, and they were always emissions related. And I just, I'm glad that I don't have that truck anymore. I'm glad to have this older truck. And this older truck is comfortable. I mean, doesn't have the biggest sleeper, but it's got a big enough sleeper. I can stand up in it. It doesn't have, it's a little, for a big guy like me, it's a little tight getting through here sometimes. The Jeep is not fixed yet. I ran into an issue with the lower strut mount, where it mounts onto the lower control arm. The bolt was rusted to the sleeve inside the bushing, and the sucker did not want to come out. Ended up breaking the bolt, so now I got to find a new bolt for it. Got to replace the bushing. Finally just heated the son of a bitch up to hell and back, and got it hot enough that it melted the rubber for the bushing, and I was able to slide the bushing out a little bit and then apply direct heat to I was able to slide the sleeve out a little bit and apply direct heat to that, and hammered on a little bit with the impact, and finally got her broke free, and I got the bolt out, the rest of the bolt. But that put a severe delay in my time frame. But I finally did get that axle out and the new one in. I just haven't put it back together yet, and I've still got to do the other side. Plus, I've still got to get a bushing extractor and press and new bushings. So we got that going for us. Gotta love working on an 11-year-old vehicle in the Rust Belt of Ohio. So we'll get that taken care of. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm tired, as I said before, and we will see you guys all on the next vlog. I hope you all are having a good one out there, and I hope you're staying safe, and hope you guys are having as good a luck on the load boards as you possibly can. But you know how that goes. But anyways, guys, y'all have a good one out there. Be safe, keep surviving to thrive, and we will talk to you guys on the next video. See you later.